Today I'm going to give you a demo trying to illustrate how this project works and how you use your watercolor pencils. So I'm going to start by making a blind contour drawing. I'm going to start with a drawing of myself. I'm going to try not to lift my pencil. As you see, I'm trying to put in sufficient detail. I have no idea what I'm doing here. But I'm trying to include all the details that I need. So I have no idea what's going on here. All right, not too bad. Looks just like me. I'm using me as a model. You guys may not know this, but I'm a model. All of us in here will probably be a model at some point. I'm going to draw one more and just take the best out of the two. So I'm going to try some different techniques here. I'm going to try to draw things in a different order maybe. Okay, so here's my two drawings of myself. Both of them kind of bizarre. If you notice here, this one, my nose actually kind of looks like my nose. It's, you know, obviously a little distorted, but it works pretty well. Both of them have their similarities to me. And I'm going to go ahead, I'll draw in, let me turn around blind again, and let me put in some shoulders here on both of these. All right, now for this one. All right, so that I can go ahead and make these into composition. Okay, so we got someone mowing outside our window. Perfect opportunity for a demo. All right, well, you'll wait forever if you're waiting for perfect moments, right? So let's go ahead. I will pick, I'm going to say this one looks the most like a person. This one probably looks the most like me. I wish I could have you guys vote on which one. But, you know, I don't think it really matters that much. So what I'm going to do, I'll just pick one. This one's kind of fun. My head's like kind of pointed. That's kind of cool. So I'm going to go ahead and lay down some color. I'm going to put in some orange here in the background. As you see, I'm not trying to color really neat. I'm trying to get some different values though. I want some of the orange to be different levels and different, I want it to be different values and in different areas. So I kind of want it to be expressive now. So before, remember, we didn't want our coloring to be expressive. Now we do. For one thing, I want those different values. And for another thing, I also want the contrast now. And then finally, we're going to go back over it with the brush, and so we're never going to be able to tell exactly how neat I colored, right? So we're going to put in some orange, and that's going to accent our two colors here, our other two colors. So I'm going to go ahead, I'll make myself, I don't know if I make myself blue. Make my eyes blue, like in real life. Why not throw in a little bit of a believable hint there as to who this is. All right. And then maybe I'll make my eyebrows and my hair violet colored. This is a red violet, as you can see. It's a very warm violet. It's mixed with red. And I'm going to color this way on my beard this grain, and then I'll do my mustache another grain, but I don't know if it'll end up being preserved like that when I'm done with my painting, because it's probably just going to do whatever it is it does. Because water's uncontrollable, and we want to embrace that. So I could be very nitpicky and try to get my water to do exactly what I want it to do. But that takes all the fun out of it. I want it to look like it was made with watercolors, and I want to be free and expressive. I don't want to sit there and micromanage this. So if you're doing that, loosen up a little. It'll be a lot more fun for you. You will enjoy art a lot more. There are certain mediums that you just have to let go of that control, and watercolor is one of them. So I know a lot of art students really love drawing versus other mediums because you got that control of that little fine tip of that pencil. You can just really control where your stuff goes. You know, you can with a paintbrush as well, and you know, later on in the year I'll show you that your loss of control can sometimes just be an illusion. You just think you're losing that control. You just have to treat the brush a little differently than you treat the pencil. But you can still have that control if you want. Let's go ahead and put in some shadows here. Let's look at my reference photo. This side's a little more in shadow than the other side, so I'm going to put in some dark blues, and I'm going to mix that. I'm going to mix that with my violet. So we're going to make it more of a traditional violet. We're going to put some of that blue back in the red violet. So violet's made from blue and red mixed together, and so with this red violet added to the blue, it should come back out a little more like traditional violet. Now you can see here I'm going to exaggerate my shadows that I have here. My shadows aren't really that strong in my composition, but I want to bump up the contrast. So I'm gonna cheat a little, right? Let's see, maybe I can have a dark colored shirt as well. And we'll let that fade out into obscurity. We're not gonna color out this all the way. Let me get my bumps out from under my table. Out from under my image, I mean. All right, so now we got our mustache. Like I said, I'm gonna color the grains going a different way, but most of that's probably gonna be obliterated. What if I go ahead and put in my lips? I think that'll make this drawing complete. That'll be perfect. I'll make my lips a darker color as well. Maybe. All right. And then and my shirt. So I'm going to kind of try and be a little true to the photograph. I have a very dark shirt on in the photograph. All right. So here we go. Just like me. Looks just like me. Go ahead and put a little blue down there. That's my chin. Let me go ahead and blind contour in my other ear if I can. There we go. So I'm going to go ahead and I can actually show you something here in a minute about how, see, I'm like, oh, I want my ear to be blue. Well, I already made orange. What am I going to do? What am I going to do? So what am I going to do? I'm going to show you what I'm going to do. I'm going to show you how to fix that. So that's one thing that's very important to show you guys. I'm going to bring my orange around here a little too. Okay, so we want this to be very expressive. I want these to bleed together when I'm done. All right. Okay, so what I'm gonna do, I'm dipping a brush into water. So here's my water. Let me get this in the screen so you can see. So I've just got an ordinary brush here. What I'm gonna do, I'm gonna hit it. Hit it against my finger. You see how it makes a point It's not perfect, but it's not a bad brush. Usually this is how we test watercolor brushes. You'll dip them in water, and then if you hit them against your finger, if they make a point, they're pretty decent. All these brushes that we have here have been abused by high school students, so none of them are perfect watercolor brushes. But this is what we're going to use to take our watercolor pencils and turn them into something that looks like a painting. So what I'm going to dip my brush back in here. Did I get a... Okay. Oh, no, yeah, I do. There's a bug in my... There's a bug in here. Ew. Ew. Get out, you nasty bug. Shoo. Shoo you. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and load my brush up with water, and then I'm going to go ahead and start trying to tear up those pencil marks a little so that this looks like watercolor now. So you see I'm going back over that. I'm loosening up that pencil, and if my lines get, if my color goes into a different, if it goes into past my lines, if I color outside the lines, that's okay. That's okay. I'm not going to lose any sleep over that. I want this to be expressive. So this is a very different kind of work of art than the ones we first did with our line-based mirrored graffiti projects. This is a lot different than that. See how I'm getting brush strokes now instead of pencil strokes? You can decide what you think is better, but for this project, this is what we want. We want to kind of lose those pencil strokes and get brush strokes instead. So that's what I'm going to do. That's what I'm going to do. Go ahead and bring this down here. You see I keep loading up my brush every once in a while. I don't want this thing just saturated in water. But I do want a healthy amount of water. I'm going to let this fade around a little, get a little lighter here. I'm going to try and blend these two a little bit. So let's try and make the color of my shirt. See how that gets darker? I might leave some of that. So I'm blending these two colors after the fact. And once I get my shirt done, I'm going to come back here, kind of clean my brush out, and then I'm going to try to blend the two together so that you can't tell really. I'm going to leave that hard edge on one, and then over here I'm going to fade it out to where you can't tell which is which. Because I want to get kind of blurred. So where does his body end? We don't know. And that's the kind of that idea there. Alright, so let me loosen up my beard. I may keep some of my pencil strokes in there. And I may mimic that with my brush strokes so that I keep some of that beard hair look. What's the point in even having a glorious beard like this if you're just going to paint over it? Right? Alright, there we go. There we go. Loosen up my blue on my face a little. And my lips. And then we'll come back in here and try to blend my shadows a little. Alright, so now I'm going to get a paper towel and I'm going to show you that technique I was referencing earlier. Okay, so we were talking earlier about that control that you kind of lose whenever you're painting, as opposed to when you're drawing. You might lose some control. Really, that's an illusion. Really, that's an illusion. Alright? Really, that's an illusion. So what I want to do, I want to go ahead and take this orange off my ear. So what I'm doing is I'm scrubbing that out, and then I'm drying it up. And this paper may not handle too much of this, but if this were regular, like if this were watercolor paper, I could keep doing that until that was pristine white. Because you can keep going. See where I bled into my eyeball here? Oh no, I got a little bit of my shadow into my eyeball. Well, I can soak that up I can loosen it up with the water and I can get rid of it. Just kind of like I got rid of a lot of the orange right there. So then I'm going to come back with my blue and color that in a little bit. Okay, this paper's not super strong and durable. So what I want to do when this is done, when it dries, I want to come back and darken up all my lines, because, and I want to darken up the lines that really make sense to me. So I can I can choose not to darken this line that cuts my face in half, and I can just darken the outside line instead when I'm done. But it's not going to work until it's dry. Whenever it's dry, then I can go back and darken all these lines, because I think the lines are very important. The lines are very important. So once I'm done with this completely, I will show you the end product. And so that's my project. It didn't take me very long to do that either, did it? So hopefully you guys will all be done with this really soon, because soon I'm going to call it as due. Alright, so here is my finished piece. I've selectively darkened up the lines that I wanted to. I darkened up most, but as you can see, I didn't darken up this line cutting the face in half. I want it to stay there in the background. I like some of these lines being lighter in the background and some being darker. I think it helps the composition, but it also makes it more clear that I didn't darken everything up. Now you can tell it's a face a little bit better than what you would have. And so I think that really helps out. So hopefully this helps everyone understand the project a little better. Let's get the bugs off of it. There we go. All right.